Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021, and I've got some new glasses. But here's the thing. So my old glasses I had them for, I think, over 2 years. The lenses had gotten all scratched up. I'm really bad at taking care of things. I've told you guys many times, I'm really bad at taking physical things. And like glasses and lenses are something I'm really, really bad at. But the plus side was, like, they had gotten really like scuffed and dulled, and so they weren't showing a lot of reflections when I was on camera. These are showing so many reflections. These new ones, I like them. They're kind of like, I think they're gray. I think they're blue. My wife told me they're gray, but I'm a little colorblind. But I gotta figure something out with these reflections, because that's all I see right now. I don't even see the glasses. All I see is the reflections. But we'll get it figured out. That's like the biggest news for today. I actually think there's other really big news today too, but personally, I'm a little bit of a narcissist. The glasses affect me, so that's big news for me. All right. Before I get too much on a tangent on myself, let's say hi to everyone listening to the podcast, the audio-only version. Hopefully you guys are having a good run or having a great commute home. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, welcome. I think a lot of people will be watching after the fact today for two main reasons. Because one, right now is when the Saucony event going on in Germany is happening with the Endorphin Pro Plus. I thought there was just a 10K, but I think Parker Stinson said he's running at 20K. So there must be multiple distances, kind of like what Adidas just did, kind of like what Hoka's been doing. Saucony's jumping in on the, generate publicity by collecting all our sponsored athletes, having some sort of record-breaking attempt, and publicize it. So I think that's cool. I think that's the kind of stuff that this sport absolutely needs. We need more spectacles. See, it's always coming back to the glasses. We need more spectacles. We need more things. We need more events. So I think that's super awesome to watch. So that's starting right now. It's on YouTube. I think it's on the Citius Mag channel. So go check that out. Now I'll still be here later, so you can always check it out later. But if you want to stick around too, I would also appreciate that. The second reason why you might want to leave the live stream right now and go watch something else, I know it's weird for me to direct people somewhere else, but I'm going to do that, is because did you guys see Ginger Runner's Summer Shorts Showdown video? Have you seen it? I just watched it. It's absolutely amazing. I agree with some of I haven't run in many of the shorts that he picked out, but some of them I agree with, especially like his number one pick, the John G shorts with all the pockets. Really great shorts. I also agree with him with like the waistband, a little bit kind of weird and needs some work. But the B-roll is absolutely amazing. You got to go check out the B-roll. He's just dancing. He's getting goofy, wearing the shorts, modeling the shorts. It's absolutely amazing. Informative and entertaining as always, Ethan. So I absolutely if I could like something twice, if I could like, if you hit the like button 2 times, it unlikes it. So don't hit it twice. But if I could do something like that, I would, because I really enjoyed that one. So you guys should go check that out. All right. That being said, for those of you who are still here, I appreciate you. Let's see what we have. We got Garrett here says he's not going to be missing the stream today though. I appreciate that. He says the 50K race he was volunteering at on the weekend had 60 DNFs in the 50K due to the heat. Whoa, dry conditions and strong wind. Out of 147 participants, that is brutal. That is brutal. Wow. Garrett said, I heard multiple people say they didn't blame their training, pacing, or strategy. They 100% blame the conditions. Wow, that's intense. He was on fully exposed, hilly prairie badlands. That sounds very unforgiving. Oh. And it says, hi, Kofuzi and everyone. Did a 5K with Pip after work. Awesome, with the dog. Listening to the latest Run Pod podcast. The guest was his own town, Nairn. Every time I see you write the word Nairn in this, I think you're saying Narnia. And half of my brain says, no, that's not what it says. The other half of my brain says, shh, just go with it. After yesterday's video, was it yesterday or was it the day before? When we were talking about... we're talking about Ed, Bud, and Andy. I was saying I have a hard time because I think they have slightly different English accents, right? So that's at least that's what I hear when I hear them talking. And I told you guys that my brain had a hard time kind of like figuring it out. It had a hard time keeping up. I'm a native English. Well, I mean, I guess technically English was my second language, but I'm a lifelong American English speaker, and I don't have any. I talk quickly, and I like it when other people talk quickly generally. So, like, I don't have a problem with it when I'm hearing American English. But when I was hearing those two guys talking at their speeds, which is I think a little bit different than their like video talking speed, I was having a hard time kind of like keeping up a little bit. It was just a little bit. There was something about it that my brain was like, I don't know what's going on here. Somehow afterwards, like immediately after we had talked about that yesterday, a video popped up on my YouTube feed, and it was about like ranking different British English accents with examples, and it just went through a whole bunch of them. Yeah, so I was thinking even more about Innes and everyone else that's coming in from the UK, from Wales, from Scotland, from England. And all the different accents that I don't hear when I like look at your chats, you know, I don't hear it because I'm reading it in my voice, but like, hopefully one day we'll be able to get together for a run. I'll go over there in the UK somewhere. We'll all get together and then my mind can just freak out a little bit over all the accents. I'm hoping for that. Jeff Elliott says, I've been watching the UCI MTB mountain bike racing on TV all day. The race is happening at Shoshone, West Virginia, and I've never seen it not covered in snow. Oh, interesting. Very cool. Ray Solar's a happy jogger says, hi, Co. Hello, gang. Easy 4 in the Bondi 6s and limos for the feet. Ah, I like that. I've never heard it called that before, but that makes sense. Very comfortable. Very comfortable. I've got a lot of afternoon coffee that I need to drink today. I'm so tired. After I went to pick up my new glasses, I went to the taco place. In Chicago, like in New York, there's like hot dog carts. You got hot dog carts, and then you got like little pizza joints that sell pizza by the slice all over the place, right? Chicago doesn't really have that. Chicago has like a really long history of being very anti-food cart. They were very anti-food truck for a long time too, but anti-food cart. So we don't have food carts really, but we do have like little taco places all over the place. Our neighborhood used to have 2, and the one we used to go to all the time went out of business. It was like shortly before the pandemic, it went out of business, but that was our place. We've been eating tacos there for over a decade. And so when that closed, we were like, oh, I guess we should just check out the other one across the street. It's like a block and a half up the street further, which makes it, you know, almost twice as far as the other one was. But we were saying we were going to keep doing that. We never have. But today, after I got my glasses, my eyeglass place was across the street from the taco place. So I went in there, got a veggie burrito, some veggie nachos, and I got my wife the veggie nachos for us to split, and then I got my wife a veggie tostada. And it was good. I mean, the food almost tastes exactly the same as the other place, which kind of makes sense. But it felt very familiar, and I was like, why did we wait so long? But long story short, I just ate a bunch of food, and I had a really tough workout today. So I'm super, super tired. Super tired. All right. Where's something about believe in the run? Where to go from Garrett? Sorry, I'll find it. Sorry. I'm way behind. I've been rambling on. That's why. That's what happens. Stevie76 wants to know today, is it Puma or is it Puma? I'm not gonna engage Stevie. I'm gonna let that one go. And Garrett says, oh, Believe in the Run just put out a First Thoughts video on the Endorphin Pro. It's cool. Yeah, my ultimate thought on that is I'm kind of annoyed about the Endorphin Pro Plus thing. I guess like it's just it's not semantics, but I'm annoyed about it because I feel like the Endorphin Pro 2 is pretty much the exact same as the Endorphin Pro 1. So if they were going to do that, but also they were making this Endorphin Pro Plus, why not just continue making Endorphin Pro 1s and Endorphin Pro 2s? It makes no sense. It's just annoying like that. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Adizero Adios Pro and then the Adios Pro last year from Adidas. That being said, I did buy both of those shoes. So, but I don't know. I'm probably not going to pick up the Endorphin Pro Plus. I think I was reading something from Sam at Road Trail Run. I think that's what I was reading about it. Because I had already been planning on not reviewing that shoe, so I was looking at other people's reviews. And they were saying like, or was it? Who was it? I'm not sure. I don't think it was them. But I don't remember who it was. But they were saying that the upper is really nice. It is a lot lighter, but it's still kind of, in terms of performance, it doesn't change it from kind of what I think of it as a really great half marathon racing shoe or a great marathon workout shoe, but not necessarily a marathon shoe. So like, that's kind of what I was hoping, that either, I don't know if you're going to call it the Pro Plus, like Pro Plus. When I think Plus, I think also like Max. So like maybe that's the one for marathons. I don't know. That's kind of I am on that one, but we'll see. Let's see. All right. Oh no. Jeff Light says, am I currently uploading? I'm not, but you know what? We were having problems with our internet earlier before. So I don't know if that's what it is. Hopefully it's fixed itself by now. Sorry guys. My wife's been on my wife might be messing around with the internet with a work call or something like that, messing up my streams. So that could be it. Pete G1980 says, can anyone recommend a good running jacket for the winter? I just looked through a bunch of my old winter running footage for that project that I told you guys that I was working on. So I looked at a bunch of old winter running footage, and I remember my absolute favorite jacket so far from the winter was the Gore-Tex Infinium jacket, the really expensive one. It doesn't look like it's going to be super warm because it's not puffy, it's not big, it looks just like a rain layer. But like, I ran in that jacket in sub-zero temperatures and it felt great. And especially if you're going to try to get in some sort of workout, like a fartlek in the wintertime, like it's slim fitting enough that you could still feel like you can really move around in it. So like, that one is really expensive, but in my opinion, it's worth it because it just works so well. Like the Infinium, it's like Gore-Tex on the outside, Infinium on the inside, and however that works together, it's just absolutely amazing. That is a great one. But I don't know if Pete, how cold it's, I'm trying to think if I remember if I know where you're from, Pete, but I don't know how cold it gets for you, but yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to try to catch up to you guys in the chat, hopefully. Okay. You guys are saying that it's clear now. All right. Blixton says, tips for a more stable trainer. I hate stability shoes, but I sometimes need to offload my ankles a bit. I would say that like Saucony does that pretty well. The Triumph 19, I feel like, has more stability in it than the 18 does. So that's the main thing that I noticed about that shoe in terms of its changes from last year. And I'm trying to think of what else have I run. Oh, the 880 version 11. I also just feel very planted in that shoe. It feels kind of like, it feels very stout in like the way like a Legacy like Asics shoe would. It's got a lot of rubber on the outsole. It's kind of like feels like a little bit like cumbersome, but also at the same time it's just like, I don't know, I could just throw my feet out however they want to go, no matter how tired I am, and they'll just kind of land in the right space, and the shoes will take care of everything for me. So that's kind of how I feel about those. So that is one that I would look at as well. It feels really good. Trying to think what else is more stable. Shoes that have like a hint of stability. There's a lot of shoes that are coming out with like mild stability now, and so I think it's the Arahi from Hoka. Is there mild stability? Is it the Arahi and the Gaviota? The Gaviota is more stable, and the Arahi I think is like a mild stability Clifton. So I think that would be another one that I look at. All right. Shannon's here, says, Kofamzy, I miss you all. Fuzi FOMO bad this week. Oh, well, we're glad you're here today. Stevie706 wants to know if Kofuzi's new eyeglasses glow in the dark. No, they don't, because they're like this like smoky plastic thing. The way that the light hits them, it like catches, and so it gives it kind of like that kind of like glowing pop, which I thought was kind of cool. I've had like semi-transparent frames before that do that, and I kind of knew what would happen. But I'm nervous about just how much reflection I'm getting on the lenses themselves. I thought I did like a non-reflective coating, but there's just a lot of reflection here. That's going to make it hard to film in these. So we'll see how it goes. DHennis888 says, good morning from Sydney, Australia. Good morning. I just saw a video on the internet of a dude that rescued a goat from barbed wire. And he sounded like Thor from like the DC or is it? Yeah, no, Marvel, like the Marvel movies. That guy, Helmsworth, right? That's an Australian accent, isn't it? Right? That's what I don't know. Sometimes some of the accents I have a hard time picking up. Linda L wants to know, is tomorrow Angry Wave Day? What's Angry Wave Day? I don't know. Wayne Westby said, I did my 10 times 800 yesterday. Gave me confidence to line up with the 305 pacer in Chicago. The Rosario seems interesting. Yeah. So that was the workout for today. So as I was doing research on the Yasso 800s, I found an old blog post from Coach Ben Rosario from NAZ Elite. And he had written this article, I think, on his blog years ago. And then I think he was also writing for Training Peaks at the time, or Training Peaks picked it up, or through their collab. Like, I know like NAZ Elite works with Training Peaks. And that's how, like, if you want to follow their training, you follow it on Training Peaks. So he had written something for their blog too about this workout. And it was brutal, but it was over fast. So it was kind of weird. It takes a lot of discipline, and it's definitely something. It's one of those workouts where I feel like you have to do it a couple times, even though it's grueling. You do it a couple times to get good at it, because it's an unusual way to run. So like the Yasso 800s are, you do your 800. So if you're trying to run a 305 marathon, you try to do 800 meters in 3 minutes and 5 seconds. It ends up being about your 5K pace, I think. So it's more of a VO2 max workout. You get full recovery. You then jog for 3 minutes, 5 seconds. So everything is 3 minutes, 5 seconds. If your goal time is 3 minutes, 5 seconds, the Rosario, and you do that 10 times. The Rosario 800s. Sorry, the dog's making a weird noise. The Rosario 800s, it's a continuous. So he said he's influenced by both Steve Magnus and Canova. And Canova, I'm not as familiar with him, but his main thing seems to be marathoners don't spend enough time at marathon pace. So he wants to make more of a marathon simulation. So Rosario takes the Yasso 800, and so let's say you do a 305, but instead of jogging to recover for another 3 minutes and 5 seconds, you then jog at the same, or you run at the same Yasso 800 pace again, plus 25 seconds. So it would be 3:30 or 7 minutes per mile for the next 800. And then you repeat that 4 times. You end up doing 4 miles total, like half mile at 5K, half mile at marathon. About marathon pace is what it ends up being too. So it ends up being like 5K pace, marathon pace, 5K, and you alternate back and forth times 4. So it was tough. And it was super windy out today. And I was very distracted, and I lost count, and I was like halfway. I had started doing a 5th set. And then I looked down at my watch. Unfortunately, I'd programmed the workout into my watch, and the watch was like, no, you're on cooldown, man. Take it easy. So I was like, no problem. I'll start jogging. So it was an interesting workout. I'm not sure if it's as useful as, say, like a marathon predictor, like a fitness predictor, but it's an interesting workout. It's really hard. And when Ben Rosario talked about it, he was like, this is a lot about physical fitness, but there's also a lot about mental toughness. And man, that thing put me through the ringer. So and he says to do it, 10 to 14 days from your big marathon. And I'm like 17 days from the marathon, I guess. So I felt like it was a good time for me to do it. I did not hit the paces that I wanted, but I still feel like I got a really good workout. So it was an interesting day. Vivek Bala says, what would be a good pair of shoes to run in on snowy days? Any thoughts? My general favorite shoes for snowy days, I like Gore-Tex. We've talked about Gore-Tex many times in the live stream. I love Gore-Tex shoes. But I also generally like light trail shoes as well. So like people call them light trail, crossover shoes. The kind that people describe it as you can run to the trail from your house and then also run on the trail, like that kind of shoe. Those are my favorites for snowy days. So like the Peg Trail, the Terra Kiger, the Ultra Superior. I think the Hoka Torrent fits in that as well. Like those would be like the kinds of shoes that I would look to run in the winter. But going back to Wayne Westby, if you're lining up with the 305, see, I think I'm gonna line up with the 310 group for the marathon. I think that's where I'm at. I'm tempted to like try and go for the 305 group, but I need to get a good solid marathon under my belt. I haven't had like a solid marathon. I mean, I did the spring marathon, but I tried to do that one low heart rate. So that was like around the 4 hour mark for that one. So like it took that one very easy, but I felt great afterwards, obviously. But I think in 310. All right. Let's see. Jens wants to know, are you going to review the tempo next percent? I don't think so. That one's not for me. So I'm probably not going to do that one. Remy says, waiting for your runner's review of the Wahoo Kicker. Let's get Zwifting. I'm interested in it. I just I don't know if we have space for it in here. We got to get rid of a bunch of stuff if we're going to do that. But as it gets colder, I'm thinking like, I still like doing bike on the rest day. So I want to make sure I do that. And over the winter, especially, I would like to do, and doing a workout is really hard when it's, like Remy, you're in the East Coast. So like, like the Northeast, about trying to run in the winter, and like Midwest winters, like trying to get a workout is really hard. So I feel like a bike would be a good way to do that. So I don't know, maybe this is the year I pick one up. I also saw DC Rainmaker's video about the Wahoo roller, which I don't know. I feel like if you put me in that, my wheel would catch on something and I would just pop right out of it and it would be a disaster. But yeah, I don't know. Jeff wants to know, did I get the kicker? I didn't get the kicker, but I am starting to think about some stuff for the winter in terms of like how can I ride my bike in the winter? That's what I want to do. Oh, and it says, tonight's task is to make more cinnamon buns. Autumn or the fall seems to be home baking time. Did you guys see Ennis's pictures of the pastries that he made the other day? They look like little garlic knots, but they were cinnamon buns. It looked amazing. I want to eat those. They look really good. New Vetro says, I took my Invincibles out for 7 miles yesterday. Still my favorite long, easy run shoe, but I wish they covered the whole outsole with rubber. The precious Zumex that's exposed in the sole got a bit cut up. Did it really? See, I feel like mine are, like the parts that are exposed seem okay. But, I'm at like 140 miles into mine, I think. They're still doing okay so far. I'm in liking them. I've been liking them. All right. Jay Preza says, nice versus battle, Kofuzi. Love the Rebel, but now you got me wanting to try the Mox. Yeah, I think, like I wish that like the only thing I would change about the Rebels, which I don't know, would maybe make them not Rebel-ish. It'd probably make them more like the Fuel Cell TC, is if they were a little bit more stack height. Because they started at 30 millimeters of stack height in the back, and it's a 6 millimeter drop, right? So it gets to 24 millimeters. Imagine if it started at like 36 and then went to 20 and then got to 30 in the forefoot. Then I think that I would have like, it'd be more like the Mach in terms of like the ways that I could use them. But I also wonder if you had another like half a centimeter of foam in the forefoot, would it start to get like Nova Blast version 1 squishy? I don't know. I just don't think, I think maybe I'm not light on my feet anymore. Maybe that's what it is. I find myself gravitating more and more to thicker stack heights. I don't know. All right. Mr. Random says, what are some good half marathon workouts? I don't know, Mr. Random. You're the one that's winning marathons. So like, I feel like you should be telling us what are the good workouts. For a half marathon, I did a lot of threshold work. So like the 6 minute on, 1 minute off, or my mile air quotes workout is one that I like using that for half marathon and marathon. But for the half marathon, I'm also doing more stuff that has some 800s and 400s in them as well. So getting some faster pace work in there to work on some more strength. So it's kind of like a little bit of a mix between the two. The long runs aren't as long, but the workouts for me don't change terribly much. At least for like my threshold day. The threshold day is exactly the same usually, but it's if I'm doing 3 sessions a week, like short and fast, threshold, and then long run, then that short and fast day, instead of having 800s like I do for marathons, usually is a lot of 400s, sometimes, or maybe some 200s. And for that, I relied heavily on like the Jack Daniels book, because he has a lot of good workouts in terms of like pacing and rests and stuff like that. So that's one that I looked at quite a bit. All right. Paul Kane says, the nights are drawing in the UK. No street lights or pavement by me, as it's very rural, so we'll be back on the treadmill. It's okay for easy days, but prefer outdoors, especially for workouts or long runs. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, like if it's pretty rural though, can you just get out there with a headlamp, maybe a tail light, you know, and then people will know to watch out for you. That's what I do when we're in Iowa. If I have a headlamp out there, I feel like people can see me a good couple miles away because the roads are very, very straight out there. I don't know if it's like that for you in the UK where you are. So maybe that's what it is. Yeah, Frank's saying, get a headlamp. Yeah. I think this is the year that I'm going to splurge and get some very, very light ones. Because I've just been getting whatever's cheap on Amazon. But maybe this year will be the year I test out some from the bigger brands and see if like they're worth the extra price. The weird thing is, like on paper, the really expensive ones don't seem to have the lumens that the really cheap ones on Amazon do. So, I don't know. Garrett says, saw a physio blog saying that running in maximal shoes can make people start landing heavier without realizing. I think a lot of people have been saying that. That's like the big argument against like max cushion shoes is that like your body still wants to feel what it's doing when it's landing. It's disorienting subconsciously when your body can't feel the ground. And so like it pushes heavier to feel it is I think the idea. So that's what, I mean, I understand the logic. And maybe that's what's happening. I don't know. Sai wants to know, what are you doing after the live stream, Kofuzi? I got to do some laundry. And then, you know, the way I got to time it, I got to get the laundry in right away so that way I could switch it to the dryers, then go pick up the kids. And then when we come back, then I'll be able to pull it out of the dryer. That's like the big thing on my agenda for this week, for today, not this week, just for today. Pat Huang says, we see my Hyperion tempo today. It's really light. Hope I can run fast enough to feel. Oh, I'm sure you will. I wouldn't worry too much about that. And again, for me, you know, when I talk about shoes, I sometimes refer to things as paces, but what I mean is effort, right? And so like, you know, when you're working harder, you'll sense the difference in it. It's just kind of the way the shoes work, I think. All right. Garrett says, the Brooks new Run Visible line of clothes look awesome for running at night. Yeah, I get paper brochures. I get them from Hoka. I get them from East Bay. And I get them from Brooks. First, I don't remember signing. I'm sure I did, but I don't remember signing up for these things. But the last one that I got had like all like almost all high vis stuff in it. And I got to say, that gear looked really good. It looks really good. Like the way that they're using the blacks, yellows, and whites in it. A big fan. I just think that the Run Visible from Brooks looks great. I haven't tried any of it yet, but it looks so good. I mean, their gear has always been pretty good in terms of like functional. Looks good. The branding isn't like over the top. I mean, sometimes over the top's okay, but like, you know, the branding is good, you know, so I just feel like it's always solid, it seems. Henry Lee says, is running by the lake too windy? I'm close to buying a condo by the lake, but I'm used to forest running in the suburbs. It's very windy when the seasons change, because you're getting a lot of it is the wind that comes off the lake. And so as the seasons change, like the air temperature is different than the air over the water, and I just feel like that creates a lot of weird fronts, and that's where a lot of the windiest times happen when the seasons change. And right now, I mean, is it today? I think today's the first day of fall, right? I think so. Like seasons are changing, and yeah, yesterday the park district had a big press conference saying like swim season is officially over. It's very dangerous to be swimming in Lake Michigan right now, and like today, for example, the police barricades were out on that one part of Oak Street, that part where they lost a truck one time. A truck fell into the lake. I was going to go around it, but I was like, you know what? It's early to be breaking rules. So I did turn around. at the barricades today. So already it's getting pretty bad. Seek Your Elite. Good day, everyone. First time here in a long time. Good to see you again. It has been a while. Welcome. All right. And it says, don't worry about the lumen output. I would recommend the Silva Free. It's very good, lightweight running head torch. Nice. Okay. Silva Free. And Mika says, Petzl Actic Core still works fantastic compared to my friend's Amazon bought headlamp that advertises double lumens. My lamp is definitely brighter. See, yeah. I wondered if that would be the case. So I'll have to check that out. New Petra says, I don't know that the count in cheap lights is accurate. My 600 lumen Night Rider looked brighter to me than the 1000 lumen no-name one I tried. All right, okay. I think it's definitely worth doing some investigating. And Jeff Elliott says, as far as like the shoe, like, max cushion making you run heavier, says, I think it's a good argument for shoe rotation. Definitely. I think that's what, when I listen to the shoe doctors, all the physical therapists, PhDs, they're like, when they're talking about, is it bad to run in only high drop shoes or low drop shoes or only carbon plated shoes? Their answer is usually, no one of these things is really bad, but it's probably best to have a variety of shoes that you run in. It's kind of always the answer. It's kind of like Michael Pollan on what he says people should be eating. Eat a variety of foods, mostly plants. So like that's kind of like, I feel like that is usually a good kind of approach to a lot of things. Mix it up. Shannon says, I prefer cushy shoes the higher my mileage has gotten. And because I'm not trying to run fast every run, I don't need that road feel type shoe. Yeah. But always focus on form. And Boston 9s for the workout today. Shannon, I saw some of your workouts on Instagram. Looks like you're making some good progress too. Good job. Yeah. Maybe that's what it is too. Maybe just like for those easy runs, I really want I want to embrace that easiness, and so I want like extra cushion for that too. Maybe. Lee Parsons says, "Is there a general consensus how many miles an experts last before they lose their spring? 100 miles." I don't know if there's a general consensus, but my kind of thing that I've been, like advising people is that like up to 150 miles, it's still great for racing. After that, you probably get another 100 miles, 50 to 100 miles of workouts for it. So like, so you get like 2 to 250. Like, it's not like the first generation of 4% where I felt like that shoe, like didn't, the drop off was fast. I think, they figured stuff out to make them last a little bit longer. I also think they're protecting with the rubber a little bit better too. Vivek says, I always remember Chicago or Illinois in general to be very, very cold in the winter, like bone chilling cold. Every time I would land at O'Hare after visiting family. Yeah, it's cold. It definitely gets very cold up here. And I would say, like, I'm by the lake and in a city, right? And so I feel like, at least in the winter, that buffers quite a bit, right? Being by the body of water and also being in the general warmth of the city. So it's not quite as bad. Out in the suburbs, or if you get further out, like I think call them exurbs, am I using that word right? On the exurbs, I think that it can get very, very cold. And where my in-laws are in Iowa, it's very rural there. And I will tell you, those fields, when they're lying fallow in the middle of winter and a cold wind comes through, I feel like you could feel the cold wind as it has traveled across like the cold earth. And it's very defeating because you're like, oh, it's just so massive and inescapable. It makes the land feel barren when you feel that cold. I'll tell you. I love the winter, by the way, though. I never try to look forward to the seasons too much because I always try to enjoy the season you're in because it's going to change soon and you won't have it. But like I mentioned before, I was looking back at some of my winter running footage. And I don't know, do you guys forget? We had a really long, really cold winter last year. But I just enjoy winter running. I really do. And the dog is going crazy today. Yesterday he napped all day because it had rained the night before, and I think he was barking at lightning all night. And so during the day he was tired. Last night it stormed as well, but I think he slept through it. So today he's like really, I don't know if he got a day of napping and then a good night's sleep. So like today he's just a little bit feisty. I don't know. Yana's here, says, hey everyone, just got back from a speed run, not doing my stretches, so decided to stop by and say hi. Well, welcome, good to see you again, Yana. Right, Ed says, where'd it go? Anyone else always forget that they're running with a headlight and accidentally blind everyone they encounter? Yes, I do that all the time. The other thing that I forget is that I have it on when I come inside. So, when I blind people, but if I'm not blinding people, I will just take my hat off and then the lamp would just fall off and like smash onto the floor. So I've done that. That's how I broke my last pair of my first pair of Gooders. They finally broke. I've had them for like 4 years, maybe 3 years. Because I would take them off and then put them on my hat when I wasn't wearing them, like when I'm walking through the building. And then I forgot they were on my hat, and I just took my hat off because it was all sweaty, and I dropped the hat on the floor, and then dropped the glasses too. So, yeah. Secretly says, it must be about the time that everyone says shoes are too high and go to the other extreme and go minimalist, and everyone gets injured. I mean, I think there's certainly going to be some pendulum swinging, for sure. But hopefully it doesn't go back to like minimalist shoes. I don't think it will. But as they say, everything old is new again. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing that. Frank says, as far as like longevity on some of the super shoes, his Alpha Fly still feel good for long runs at 180 miles. Nice. That's good. That's really good. Andy just says, any specific goals for CIM? Hope to see you there. I mean, right now, the goal is to break 3. A lot can happen between now and then. But also Chicago is going to, I think, tell me a lot as well in terms of like how realistic that's going to feel. So that's it right now. But, I'll definitely do some updating of those goals after Chicago, which is is less than 3 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away. Dev Runner says, winter in North Carolina is perfect for speed training. Great for spring 5K and 10K racing. Yeah. I mean, the weather in the Atlantic is really nice in the wintertime. I remember one time I was in Atlanta in December. And I flew down in my bubble coat from Chicago, and I landed at the airport, and I drove to a parking garage. And when I got out of the parking garage, I still had like my bubble coat on and my pants. And someone else was like walking back to their car after they had gone for a run in shorts and a t-shirt. So it was like kind of a weird, like crossing paths. So it was fun. Simon wants to know, are you cooking today? Yes. I don't know what's going to be for dinner though. We had spaghetti for dinner yesterday. The kids actually ate it, which was nice. Kindergarten is making the baby a much less picky eater, which has been great. I've also been moving dinner. We talked about this before. I moved dinner up a little bit. It's harder for my wife to join us every night. But if I did, before, the kids would, end up snacking a lot, and then they would eat cookies, and then not really eat dinner. So I'm trying to get them to eat more dinner. Greg says, have you thought about what next out of the comfort zone endurance adventure you do next year? Yeah, I'm thinking about it a lot. I'm thinking about, hopefully we'll hit the 100K subscriber marks. And I think it's going to be, hopefully it'll be sometime in February-ish, which is about the same time as the Black Canyon 100K. So I'm thinking about that. I tried to get Jamie to agree to run it with me, and he wouldn't even pretend to entertain that thought. And then I asked Thomas if he would run it with me, and he's like, I don't know, I'm doing an Ironman in December. So he hasn't said no, but I think he's a no. So we'll see if I'm just running that out there by myself. Maybe I'll see if a serious runner wants to do it. I feel like a serious runner is like really, I mean, if I knew a serious runner in real life, I would be like, dude, I think you would cross the line between poking fun at me, and I just feel like you're being outwardly aggressive now. some of the stuff that he's posting is like, that's exactly what I don't do like some of the silly stuff that he does, but I'm like, hitting a little too close to home, man. It makes me uncomfortable a little bit. Steven Ganoza, you know him? It's funny. But other than that, I don't know. I also want to do like a winter sprint triathlon. So that's going to be weird to combine training of our so it'll end up being like the same training at the same time, 100K and sprint triathlon. But then, I think I'll try kind of treat it like I did with the Chicago Marathon training, where it was like the runs will be long and easy, and then the bike and the swim are low impact, so they could be good for other days. So I think that's I got to figure out some dates. I talked to Coach Robin at Edge Athlete Lounge. She's like, oh, there's some really good ones in like Florida and stuff, and I'm like, well, maybe by like February or March I'll actually want to go to Florida, but we'll see. Tyler's here. What's going on, man? He says, what shoes are you planning on for Chicago? I'm having last minute thoughts to rock the Flyknit Vaporfly. Oh man, that'd be a good one. That'd be a classic choice. I think I'm still gonna think I'm just gonna go with the Metaspeed Sky. I like that one. I'm not sure. Here's the thing. I'm not sure if I'm gonna run in it. I'm doing the Chicago Half Marathon this weekend, so we're just talking about like longevity and mileage. If I do the half marathon this weekend and then the marathon in Chicago in the same shoe, that'll put me at 100 miles total for that. So I feel like that's fine. I'm not too concerned about the mileage wise. I'm more concerned about it from like a review standpoint. But yeah, I think that's probably going to be it. Maybe I'll run in the half marathon and something else. I was thinking maybe I'll do the half marathon in the Endorphin Speed, because I haven't been giving that shoe enough attention. But I do think for the marathon, I'll do the Metaspeed Sky. That's the one. All right, Runner Will's here. He says, catching the end. Good to see you, Will. Hope you're doing all right. Steve says, excuse me, your bubble coat is encroaching on my personal space. But it's Gore-Tex. It wasn't Gore-Tex though. It was was it? No, it wasn't Gore-Tex. It's just a regular bubble coat. Jeff Elliott says, the Dumb Runner guy had a comic, something to the effect of, cycling is a low-impact sport until you hit the pavement at 35 miles per hour. Didn't the Dumb Runner actually get in a bike accident? I thought he did. No? I thought I saw a picture. I think he was okay, but the picture looked, well, he's like, the picture's worse than it is. Like his face was pretty bashed up. Henry Lee says, what do you do with all those shoes and where do you store them? Oh, well, what size shoe do you wear? I run with them until they hit the 100-mile mark, or until like I've had them for a while and realize I'm not going to run into the 100-mile mark, and I just maybe retire them early. I store them, most of them in the closet. Some of them are under the bed. I have to find more and more places for them because I have a lot. And when I was like earlier this year, I was doing like 5K, 8K, 10K training, half marathon training, and then triathlon training. So like my mileage wasn't that high. So like I was not getting through shoes like I usually do. So like a lot of them are still piled up. When I'm done with them, usually after the 100-mile mark, I'll donate them to charity. Travis Leong says, I might have missed it. Will you have a meet and greet post-Chicago Marathon? I've been thinking about that. Normally, I go to the 3 Run 2 after party. You got to buy tickets ahead of time. It gets kind of wild. It gets a little bit rowdy. I don't usually stay too long because it's rowdier than my old legs can handle. But it is a lot of fun, and everyone goes there. You'll see everybody at some point. But I don't know if they're having it this year. They haven't posted anything for it. And the other thing was, like, even if they have it, I'm not sure I want to go into that crowded concert hall that they rent out. It's like a dance hall that they rent out, and be in a space with all that many people. I'm just not feeling comfortable about that. So I don't know. Maybe, I think I'm just going to try to find a way to hang out after the race somewhere. Remember one year, like, Gwen Jorgensen had a meet and greet, like, at, like, across the street from the the Hilton hotel down there. Is it a Hilton? I forget which one it is, the giant one. So I don't know if we'll just like set a time and be like, hey, we're hanging out. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. Yana says, I ordered a road bike. Who knows? Maybe I'll join Kofuzi Triathlon Club next year. Yeah, we should do that. Secret Elite says, if you're trying to break 3 hours, why not just go for it at Chicago? And if you blow up, does it really matter? Sort of like how the Japanese runners do, where they always go hard, hoping it's a good day. Well, I mean, I think that a lot of the Africans approach it the same way as well. I don't think I'm in shape for it because I only started focusing on marathon training about 3 weeks ago. Before then, I was doing the triathlon. And so my buildup has been unconventional. So that's what it was. So that's the main reason. I'm not in 3-hour fitness. And Eric Trapp, I think we'll probably end this one for today. It says, hey, Kofuzi, any updates on the pre-Chicago shakeout the morning before? Not participating myself, but may spectate and would love to join you in the community for a few miles. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, it will be, I haven't figured out the exact time yet, but it'll be Saturday morning. We'll meet at the pavilion, chess pavilion, and then run along the lakefront down to the Bean. And then from there, it should end like a little bit before. My goal is like to get a big group photo at the Bean. And then after that, you'll be pretty close if people want to hop in an Uber and go to the expo. So like kind of that's my goal. I think the expo starts at 9, so maybe we'll try to plan the run to end at like 8:45, 8:30ish, and it'll be like about a 3.5, maybe 3 mile run, I think. So that's kind of the idea. Jason says breweries are my favorite post-marathon hangout spot. So I'm thinking I was thinking about that today as I was walking home from getting my glasses and the tacos. But like I want to do because like one thing that we did, the pizza place that we really like, we've rented that spot out before, and they have a really big upstairs area that you can rent out for pretty cheap. You can get like a beer special and stuff. And I was thinking maybe we would do something like that. I think I can make that work, but like. It's inside. I don't want to gather a bunch of people inside. And so like if there's a brewery with lots of outdoor seating, so I'm trying to think of like where that would be and like how far do we have to go from downtown in order to be able to do that on marathon weekend without it being like a giant thing. So that's kind of like the hard thing. So I'm kind of like somewhat thinking about it, but I'm also just a little bit concerned about, gathering too many people together, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Mark Dilbo says, hi, Kofuzi, hope you're well. A big fan from Newcastle, UK. Welcome. Good to see you. And Zach Guerra says, I started my running journey a little over a month ago, and I'm starting to see my endurance get better. 5'9" and down from 240 to 230. Goal is to get down to 200 by the end of the year. That's amazing, Zach. Great job. I would say, the weight will come. As your body will match your level of activity, right? So like, goals are great, and I think it's good to have those benchmarks, but like, I was running with, on Sunday, when I did the Kara 20 miler, I ended up running with 2 other guys, and we were talking, and all of us had some pretty significant weight loss. And I don't think that any of us had really we started running thinking like, well, we got to get in shape. But I don't think any of them had really been like, I want to lose X amount of pounds. But between the 3 of us, we had lost 120 pounds. And so I was like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And so like for me, I used to be 185. Now I'm down to like 145. So I've lost 40 pounds. The guy Andy I was with, he lost 50 pounds, and the other guy had lost 30. So I was calling us the Buck 20 group. But yeah, I mean, I never set out for it, but as you run more, your endurance will get better, and then you're like, well, I want to have a good long run on this Saturday. So maybe Friday night, I'll have 1 or 2 less drinks, or maybe I won't have a burger and I'll have something a little bit better for me. Not that burgers are terrible. I love burgers, but you start finding yourself willingly making all these different decisions because you don't think of them as sacrifices. You think of them as well, I got something that I would much rather have tomorrow. So I'm going to hold off on some of this stuff today, and then those things add up. And then before you know it, you'll be feeling, I'm thinking you're probably feeling better already. You said your endurance is getting better. So it'll come. Just stick with it. And, let your body tell you what it needs. It'll let you know if you listen, so good job, and hope you will continue along on that journey. All right, with that being said, I think that's a good time and a good place to end it for today, guys. Tomorrow, we're going to do another electrolyte drink showdown. I've got a bunch of different flavors at noon. I don't think I've tasted any of these before. Maybe I have, and I just forgot. But I'm going to taste a whole bunch of noon. That'll be my recovery beverage for tomorrow's happy hour. Feel free to bring your recovery beverage. It doesn't have to be an actual recovery beverage. It could be a different kind of recovery beverage if that's what you want to do as well. Hopefully, either way, I will see you then. Tomorrow's video is going to be, what's tomorrow, Thursday? Tomorrow's video, yeah, it'll be a surprise. You'll see it when you see it, but you guys are going to want to check it out. So maybe hit the notification bell, because I think it's going to be a good surprise. I think you guys, especially the people that are here, are going to like it. So look out for that one tomorrow, and then I will see you soon. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.